All right, good afternoon. I am Zach KOHANE. I'm a professor of Biomedical Informatics and chair of the department at Harvard Medical School, and I'm your chair today for today's session on AI and the opportunities for risks and opportunities in the life sciences and life science innovation, where AI may change our lives. In that regard, and I'll risk at this post-election moment to be somewhat inopportune, I want to point out, when we talk about AI affecting lives, that the world's most prominent AI doomer and user, Elon Musk, co-founded AI to ensure that AI remains beneficial to humanity, and through Tesla's autonomous driving program, perhaps more than anyone else on Earth, has been responsible for millions of life and death decisions as people drive their cars around. And in healthcare, we have very similar contradictions. On the one hand, we want to see AI help people's lives. On the other hand, we want to make sure it remains aligned with our values. And who better than our incredible panel to address those opportunities and risks. I'm going to have the panel introduce themselves while they give you their 2-minute version of, is this real or Memorex? After all this chat, is, in fact, AI doing anything in the life sciences? Please.
Great. So I'll start us off. Erika STANZL. I'm a partner in the Zurich office for McKinsey. You might ask yourself, why is someone from McKinsey up here? Those people just do strategy, but that is not true. So I also work with our Quantum Black arm, where we build and deploy use cases for many different stakeholders in life sciences, including pharma companies, but also med device and others. In terms of kind of state of the industry, is AI real, especially in life sciences? The answer is definitely yes. We see some places where there is incredible improvement. So things like clinical trial operations, where many companies today are using various different versions of AI to choose which sites they start their trials in, for example. There are also places in research where people have been using different variations of AI for a long time, and large language models are also very significantly improving that. So easier to read and synthesize literature, easier to write reports, kind of a number of different things that people are pursuing. I would say it's incredibly untapped potential still today. Many of the things I just listed, they're not used 100%. They're used maybe 5%, maybe 2%. People are excited. They talk about it. They try it. They pilot it. But we don't see most of the use at scale today. And so that's part of the question, is how do we change that?
Thanks, Erika. I'll go next. Ajay, GANNERKOTE. I'm the head of the ultrasound business at Siemens Healthineers. Run the global business, and I do agree with Erika. I have a background from McKinsey as well. I was a partner in McKinsey, so yeah, they do more stuff than just strategy consulting, and I can attest to that. At Siemens Healthineers, we've been doing AI for over 20 years. Before it was called AI, right? We started doing it many years ago, and we have a large center in Princeton with over 2 billion images that we use to curate anonymized data, and we'll talk about that later, and actually use that to help interpret images in a much better way to improve patient outcomes or clinical outcomes. And I do think it's real. If you look at any image today, it's not just a static image. It's actually telling you something. Whether it's in terms of identifying cancer much earlier than it becomes big or manifests itself, that can be done through MRI or through ultrasound very effectively. Think about looking at a fatty liver. Some of those who were at the NASH call meeting here there today, within about 15 seconds, we can identify the fat level of a liver with a simple score using AI. And then the other application that we're seeing is, how do you make these scans become easier to do, right? The industry faces a huge shortage of sonographers or clinical people. Using AI, we can make it a lot more user-friendly. We call it image guidance, and that's another thing we do. The third thing which you see in imaging is better clinical outcomes. Is one of the things that's happening is with AI, not only identifying the disease much earlier on, it can also do correlations. So if it finds something when you're scanning the heart, can also tell you, look, based on pattern recognition, where else to look. And this is something that's not always possible or not always known to all the doctors. And these are in use today. These are being used. These are very practical applications. That's why we call our AI as practical AI. These are some of the things that can significantly impact patient lives, also make clinician lives much better. And that's what's exciting about what we do in AI and imaging.
Cool. So I'm Michelle LONGMIRE, the founder of Medable, and we provide clinical trial technology to enable patients all over the world to participate, and really looking at underrepresented patients being a part of the everyday life of a person and bringing clinical trials kind of to corners of the globe that we haven't typically been able to serve. I think the AI question is really interesting. I guess I kind of wear two hats. One is an expert. I'm a physician. I'm a dermatologist. I actually have a patent that goes back to 2013 where I self-funded and wrote a patent around computer vision for dermatology. And I was at Stanford, and there were, at the time, Andrew Ng was there, and there were all the YouTube videos that they were mining, and the AI could self-identify cats. And I thought, this is so interesting. Like, dermatology is going to be transformed by this. I'd say the other hat that I wear is an inventor and as an entrepreneur. And I think that AI is essentially going to replace experts, but I don't know that we are on the path for it to replace human invention and innovation when you look at, is it really bringing and addressing novelty? So I think what's really interesting about AI, in my opinion, is that, and it kind of comes down to the math, AI is basically, we talk about generative AI, it's essentially creating vector representations of knowledge and of vast amounts of information. And through these vectors, you can interpolate and identify patterns that are beyond the human brain's ability to do pattern identification. But what I don't think we're necessarily on the path of is this really addressing novelty. So I think, when you look at, say, Einstein in 1905, right, the year he published 4 Nobel Prize winning papers, photoelectric effect, special relativity, Brownian motion, E=mc squared. These weren't about knowledge and assimilation of knowledge and patterns and existing knowledge bases. This was true novelty. These are 4 new models of reality. And I think currently where AI is, it's one model that we're scaling, but I don't believe that AI today is generating new models of reality that humans are doing all the time. So I'd say, let's lean into that advantage, because in the expert category, I think it's going to replace a lot of the expertise that humans provide today.
Chris.
Hi everyone, Chris MANSI. I'm the founder and CEO of Viz.ai. Is AI in healthcare real? Yes, it is. We got the first FDA clearance for AI back in 2018. This was an imaging-based AI system that detected strokes in a brain scan and triggered a workflow. Since then, there have been hundreds of clearances. I think most hospitals have an AI system. Not across the board, not in every single disease, not in every single department, but we're getting there. I think in pharma and in medical device, AI is being leveraged for drug discovery. It's accelerating clinical trials, companies like Medable. It's coming up with novel targets for where devices, should be focused on. Some work we did with a device company, they asked us, hey, on average across your 2,000 hospitals for brain aneurysms, what is the range of vessel size just before that aneurysm? Because it allowed them to better target their R&D as to how large their catheter should be and give them an advantage over competition. So I think it's real. I think it's having a massive, massive impact compared to the average standard. But I think it's important that we understand the average standard in healthcare. Because healthcare is a team sport, it's often a hub and spoke sport, where there's specialists in one hospital, more generalists maybe in the community. So if you're a patient and you happen to go to a place where the person who's an expert in your particular disease doesn't reside, happen to see them straight away, the chances of you getting guideline-directed care today, unfortunately, are actually reasonably low. And so today, like how we are in healthcare, it's very uneven. We have phenomenal hospitals. We've got Mayo Clinic, Harvard represented here. We do amazing things for our patients, but it's certainly not standardized across the board. And I think that, for me, is the biggest thing that technology, particularly empowered by AI, can do. It can democratize access to care.
John HALAMKA is coming in to us from the netherworlds.
And
John.
can you hear me now? Well, so
Yes.
wonderful to see you all. John HALAMKA, president of Mayo Clinic Platform, emergency physician, and student of Zach KOHANE for the last 30-plus years.
That is correct. That is correct.
There
Guilty.
we go. In addition to my role at Mayo Clinic overseeing all our global collaborations, partnerships, data, and AI, I am chair of an organization called the Coalition for Health AI, now over 4,000 worldwide companies working together on the guidelines and guardrails to ensure that we do no digital harm. So is it real? Well, Zach, in January I was in Davos, and you would have thought we would have talked about climate change or global conflict. But no, we talked about the impact of AI on workforce, on economy, on, as you have all said, devices, life science discovery, expertise, equity, and access. But yet there was some reluctance, some fear that this wasn't real. I was in Vienna last week. 300 healthcare leaders said, it is an imperative. There is no way we are going to reach our economic goals, our staffing goals, reduce burnout, see more patients in more locations without it. So what have I seen in 1 year? Culture change, a demand that wasn't there. And of course, we have the technology and we're assembling the data to make it happen. So maybe I'll be the one person on the panel extraordinarily optimistic.
No, I'm very optimistic too, but I think my job is to be a rabble rouser. And we're running short of time, so I'm going